2024 recruiting is pretty much wrapped up, but Nebraska is not done adding talent. I got Sean Callahan, Nebraska recruiting insider, on this video to talk about the latest prediction he had and whether or not Cornhusker fans will have something new to celebrate on National Signing Day. But first, do me a favor, Nebraska fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We love talking Nebraska recruiting, and we'd love to have you guys on board, so hit subscribe for me, please. Okay, let's bring on Sean Callahan from Husker Online. Now, Nebraska's top 2024 commitments, here they are: QB Dylan Raiola, Grant Bricks, Carter Nelson, corner Mario Buford. Really a solid class. So, Sean, I want to ask you, how would you grade Matt Rule's 2024 recruiting class, taking into account talent, but also filling of needs?
Well, I think before Dylan Raiola, it was a solid class. You add Dylan Raiola, an industry-rated 5-star quarterback, and that really has brought things over the top. It's kind of given it a true face, a true identity. But then you're seeing guys like Carter Nelson really emerge. I mean, I thought Carter Nelson at the Polynesian Bowl, I was there all week, looked outstanding in Hawaii, was the game's leading receiver. He played in the All-American Bowl in San Antonio, showed what he could do. Closing Grant Bricks was big too. Number one player in Iowa. They got the number one player in Nebraska. So they were really able to get, some key regional targets, and then having just that identifiable quarterback like Dylan Raiola, I think is going to pay dividends for Matt Rule in the future.
And Sean, Nebraska's not done yet. Over the weekend, one of the top unsigned, uncommitted prospects in the country, there's really not many, began trending heavily to the Cornhuskers. I'm talking about Keona Wilhite. He goes 6'5", 230 out of Arizona, one of the many Washington commits that departed after Kalen DeBoer left Alabama. Sean, Michigan State and UCLA also making a late push, but why do you have him predicted to land at Nebraska?
Well, yeah, the story with Keona Wilhite and his recruiting, it's been a roller coaster for this kid. He signed a letter of intent with Washington. We know Kalen DeBoer took the job at Alabama, which has really changed a lot for him. So he was released from his letter of intent, went back on the market. Michigan State, UCLA, and Nebraska, and even Texas, those were kind of the major players that were involved. He visited Nebraska first for an official visit. Went well, but it was one of those midweek visits, so those are always tough. You don't really have a great feel on a midweek visit when the staff's out on the road and whatnot. And there was a thought that he was going to visit Texas as well on a weekend visit. That never happened. Last week on Wednesday, all the indications we had were Nebraska was not going to in-home him on Friday, and he was essentially a silent commit or heading to UCLA. Well, then the rumors about Chip Kelly began to circulate that he was interviewing for NFL coordinator positions, even college jobs, coordinator jobs, looking to get out of Westwood. And I think after what happened with Keona Wilhite, with Arizona, or with Washington losing their coach, that really changed a lot for him in his thought process. So I think it reopened the door for Nebraska. And then on Saturday, you saw members of Nebraska's defensive coaching staff teasing a new commit. We believe that is Keona Wilhite. I mean, that's really the only 2024 name out there on the board.
Yeah.
So I think on signing day, Husker fans are going to get some good news with Keona Wilhite.
Hey, opportunistic right there. 6'5", 230. Think about that. They're going to add a quality edge rusher here right at the final moment. Not a lot of teams making moves at all. So Nebraska picking one up late is a big move. Now, we are currently, as of today, in the NCAA dead period, a much-needed dead period and rest for the college coaches. But what can we expect coming out of it for Nebraska recruiting? Will there be a big visit weekend in the spring coming up? Inside Scoop listeners and at-home chefs, I need you to listen in. HelloFresh, they can take the stress out of dinner. HelloFresh can deliver everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving tons of time. And I use it because who has time to hassle with the grocery store, spending time in checkout lines? I just can't stand it. So skip that extra trip and instead get fresh ingredients and delicious recipes delivered straight to your door. Just like always, HelloFresh's ingredients travel from the farm to your door so you know they're fresh, and everything arrives pre-portioned so you can get it right and get to cooking quick. Me and my fiance actually made HelloFresh last night. She made the order. I cooked it. Of course, it was delicious. Only took about 30 minutes. We didn't have to come up with a recipe, and we saved money. We made the chickpea rice bowl, veggies and chicken. It was delicious. So you guys need to get on this wave. And here's what we're going to do. I got something to give you for free as well. Go to HelloFresh.com/Josh Newberg free and use code Josh Newberg free for free breakfast for life. That's one breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/Josh Newberg free with the code Josh Newberg free. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Yeah, they have a later spring here. Spring ball, the spring game is April 27th. That's one of the later ones you're going to see in college football. So they will not begin their spring practices tentatively until the last week of March, which would give them 5 straight weeks of practices. So I'll be interested on their approach, what they'll do. My guess is they'll wait until at least the first weekend of spring practices to have visitors in, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to bring a lot of visitors in until you have practices going. And obviously that red-white game on April 27th is a big one. Nebraska gets huge crowds, 70, 80,000 plus, maybe you're going to sell out for the spring game. The spring game tickets go on sale this week in Lincoln. And with Dylan Raiola, there's 23 newcomers on campus, counting transfer players and freshman players. So it's going to be an exciting spring to watch Nebraska when you have so many new players on this roster, led by guys like Raiola on that April 27th red-white game.
Man, that's like a quarter of the roster being flipped in one offseason. That's huge. And Sean, we just talked about Keona Wilhite, who could be yet another addition to that 2024 class. Now, obviously, he's not an early enrollee like Raiola and the other group. He'll be here in summer, but a much-needed addition at 6'5", 230 pounds coming off that edge. Sean Callahan with Husker Online. Thanks for stopping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.